What's up everybody, my name is Chris, and today in this video I want to talk about the Tentacle Sync timecode synchronization device, the Sync E, and how you can actually use this with a proper microphone for higher quality scratch audio, or so you have an additional audio source recorded directly into your camera. Toward the end of last year, Tentacle Sync actually sent me the Track E 32-bit float audio recorder with timecode and also two of their Sync E tracking devices, basically for timecode matching multiple cameras so that you don't have to do all the matching based on the audio waveform. Now, I've been loving to use all of these devices throughout my kit and throughout the year, and it was actually really good. Now, the problem that I oftentimes ran into was whenever I wanted to use timecode with one of the cameras, like for example here, the Canon EOS R, with cameras like these, that is usually a problem because they don't have a dedicated timecode in port, and that means you have to use the mic in port and record a audio signal timecode. Now, of course, that means you don't have that same port available for an additional microphone, so usually it would look something like this. Now that's great, I have timecode here on the camera, and I have timecode on the camera that I'm having right in front of me. However, now I cannot hook up this microphone, which is usually on top. That would be really nice if I could also record that for scratch audio, or if I want to have that as a second audio source, for example, for sound effects that I want to later on use in the production. Now, if you use something like the Track E, which is an audio recorder with timecode synchronization built in and of course compatible with the Sync E, then you don't really have that problem much because of course you can directly record the audio right in here. But even though I have this available and I also can record into the Zoom F6 and have timecode synchronization there with just the devices hooked up at the start when I'm starting the recording or when I'm starting the synchronization process, however, I sometimes still want to be able to have the audio here on the camera and also record that microphone and this microphone and maybe even something with the Zoom F6. Now usually the Sync E device that I have now attached here to the camera, it actually has a microphone built into this little device, which is able to record scratch audio on the second track. So basically on the left track you get the timecode signal, and on the right track you then get the scratch audio recorded from the microphone right here inside the Sync E device. Now that might be fine if you don't really care all too much about the audio and you still want to have some kind of redundancy in terms of maybe being able to synchronize. Maybe you still do a clap sync, for example, then you would have that clap also on here if it was close enough to the microphone so that it was able to pick that clap up. However, the quality is not something that you would actually want to end up using. It's more of a backup, so you at least have something recorded to the camera. Now, I actually reached out to Tentacle Sync and asked them if there is a possible solution to this, for example, using a left-right splitter cable or something similar. And they actually got back to me and sent me two of these adapter cables, which are custom-made cables by Tentacle Sync, and these are really high-quality connectors, and the wiring essentially makes it possible so that you can hook up all these things to your camera with this little port right here. So now let's talk about how this cable works and how it solves the issue that I was having. Now first up, you take the main connector right here, which is just the one end, and then you have the Y cable on the other end. And we can unplug the Tentacle Sync at the moment, plug in the new cable, and now here we want to actually unplug the Tentacle Sync from its cable. And with that we have the synchronization device bare like this. And now we can actually just hook this up to the other end of this cable. And now we have that ready to go. And now we can also, of course, again, put in the cable for the stabilization or the hook so that it does not disconnect from the Tentacle Sync. Now I can take this and actually put it again to the Velcro that I have on the back of my monitor there. And here we now have a connector, and this is a female TRS plug. And here I can now take the connection from my microphone that I have right here and plug this in as if I were plugging in something to the camera. Now in this configuration, and specifically with microphones like the Rode VideoMic NTG, which have the auto sensing feature for auto on off and stuff like that, the camera is actually providing plug-in power to the left and right channel, which means that the Sync E is recognizing that it is a mic port. So that means that it is sending a mic level signal and not a line level signal. And the microphone on the top here is actually able to sense that it is using a mic port at the moment. It is supposed to be activated and the camera or the microphone turns on by itself whenever you are switching into movie mode or the camera is providing plug-in power, and usually that is the case in movie mode. And now with this setup, on the left channel we have the timecode signal here from the Sync E, and on the right channel we have the microphone signal here from the top microphone, the video mic NTG. And now for a quick comparison, I want to show you the audio from the Sync E built-in microphone for scratch audio, and then with, of course, the top microphone that I have mounted there right now. And just so you have a bit of a feel of how that compares to each other and whether or not it is actually worth it. Dig deep within yourself, for there is a fountain of goodness ever ready to flow if you will keep digging. This is the Tentacle Sync built-in microphone for scratch audio only. This is a test how it sounds about an arm's length of distance to my body with the microphone actually being pointed toward the action. Dig deep within yourself, for there's a fountain of goodness ever ready to flow if you will keep digging. This is the video mic NTG through the Y cable into the camera so that we have Tentacle Sync timecode recorded at the same time. And with that, we are recording a timecode signal and a proper microphone for scratch audio or sound effects. And of course, you can also use a wireless unit. I think this is a really good solution so you have proper sound on your camera, but you're not missing out on having timecode. Now, the one criticism that I do have about this setup is that the Y cable that you need to be able to do this is relatively expensive. However, from what I understand, they are made in Germany and are really high quality cables as well as connectors and should last you a very long time. That said, if you have any questions, you can leave those in the comment section down below. If you found this video interesting or helpful, I would appreciate a thumbs up or a super thanks, and I hope to see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao!